bathroom with a mic on? Where's Jason? Jason. Is it off?
Okay, will they be able to hear you?
Megan, you hold the battery up.
hurt. It probably hurt. It probably didn't feel the greatest, Sam. Sam. It.
Mom. Gimme. Hendrik. Oh, jeez. Here we are today. Jason? Are we ready? Okay, so I think we're starting now. So we'd like to welcome you all to the speech showcase here. March 19th, 2018. Thank you, Dave. Per usual at a Catholic school, we're going to begin with prayer. So if you would, in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. God our Father, you have created us to strive for the best. Grant to all speakers and spectators strength to pursue excellence during this event. We pray for the words and actions of these speakers. And finally, we pray for your grace, that you provide us with the endurance to pursue our heavenly prize, eternal life in your Son. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Alrighty, so the speech team did not compete in nearly as many meets as we have in the past, but we do still have quite a few team awards that are worth noting here before we start off the showcase today. The first meet of the year we went to was Newcastle, where the team placed 5th. At our second meet, Southport, we did not place. However, we still put forth a strong effort. At IUPUC Columbus, we placed 5th, and at Rushville, we also placed 5th. At Columbus East, we placed 10th, and we had a strong finish at the sectional meet with a 3rd place.
Now we're going to get into who exactly is on this team, beginning with the freshmen. We had 2 freshmen this year. Of course, Jenna Sever, who will be speaking second today. She finished 2nd in a novice original performance at Columbus this year, 5th in performance at Rushville, and 4th overall in original performance at sectionals. And then we also had Cami Swingendorf, who placed 5th in prose. She was in the prose category at Rushville, and placed 8th in prose at sectionals this year. We're actually, before we get into the speakers, we're going to have our extemp draw. So if Megan Looney would come up here, and Mr. Milroy as well. So for those of you who don't know, is it international extemp, Mr. Milroy? U.S. extemp. She took place in U.S. extemp. So basically, if I say this correctly, they have 3 different topics they get to choose from. She has notes prepared that she brought into the meet. She can't use anything online. She can't pick up anything online. And she has to prepare a 5-minute speech over such topic in 30 minutes. So she's going to pick her topics now, and then we're going to let her go. All right, then. So now that that's off, we're going to go ahead and start with our first speaker, Elizabeth Woodruff. She took part in original oratory this year, and she will be giving her speech entitled "Less is More."
I'm going to have a big princess-worthy wedding dress. I'm thinking a lace bodice and a big tulle skirt, but I've watched enough Say Yes to the Dress to know that I will know when I find the one, and it will bring me to tears. I'm going to have a beautiful venue. I'm thinking a flower garden or a refurbished barn, you know, something rustic, but still classy. Regardless of the venue, there will be flowers everywhere. It's going to be grand and extravagant, and everyone will tell me how beautiful it is. It's going to be the happiest day of my life. If you're anywhere near as fairy tale obsessed as I was as a child, you've probably thought about your wedding day too. What you will wear, who will be there, what the decorations will look like. But how many of us think about the love and commitment that will go behind that day? We don't teach little girls to dream about joint finances. Instead, it's all about being swept away by Prince Charming and feeling like a princess for a day. The average cost of a wedding is over $35,000, according to a survey done by The Knot, a website of wedding gurus who are perpetrators of the problem. We've become so caught up in the material aspects of weddings that we lose sight of the true, important meaning. And sadly, this obsession with appearances has permeated into all aspects of our lives. We as Americans have become more and more materialistic. We want more and better things than the people around us. Today, I'm first going to propose to you the idea that materialism is a problem plaguing our nation, that is. We'll then meet with the wedding planner to discuss the costs that materialism has on the environment and us as individuals. After this, we'll finally be able to walk down the aisle and make our vows to protect the environment and reduce the amount that we are consuming. So, first of all, what is materialism? According to Merriam-Webster, materialism is defined as a preoccupation with or stress upon material rather than intellectual or spiritual things. It's focusing on objects and things instead of memories and feelings. It's focusing on what we have instead of who we are. Americans today consume an inordinate amount of goods, and these goods range from electronics to shoes to food. According to Relevant magazine, American households contain more televisions than they do people. The average house in America has 3 televisions, while there are only 2.8 people per household on average. More money is spent on fashion accessories than college tuition. And being a senior in high school, I have sat through enough college visits and lectures from my parents to know that college is very expensive. Nearly 40% of all food in America goes to waste. And yet, even knowing all of these facts, I know that all of you will go home and continue to consume. I don't say this to be condescending. I consume as much as anyone else. I say this to prove that our society has reached a tipping point that pushes us to want more and more. But why? According to Andy Puddicombe, a clinical medical consultant, people want more because of internal criticism and judgment of others. We feel as though we can always be better because of legitimate or even illegitimate criticism against us. We think that if we just have that nicer car, that bigger house, or that newer TV, then we can finally catch up and be the perfect version of ourselves. But this cycle never ends. There will always be a nicer car, a bigger house, and a newer TV. I know the effects of this cycle too well. I go through new clothes every season because I feel that I will be judged if I wear something that's out of style. I feel self-conscious whenever I pull out my tiny iPhone 4 in public. And admittedly, I feel judged because I sometimes catch myself judging other people based on their possessions. In my environmental science class, we learned about coevolution in nature. Coevolution is when 2 species push each other to become more adapted. The example we used was hummingbirds and flowers. Some flowers will evolve to store nectar deeper in their stems, and this pushes hummingbirds to have longer beaks to retrieve the nectar. The hummingbird's longer beaks pushes the flowers to store the nectar deeper in their stems, and the cycle continues. We, as a society, have adopted coevolution. Companies produce more and more things, and when companies produce more things, we buy more things. And when we buy more things, this tells companies to produce more things, and they produce more things, and then we buy more things, and the cycle continues. But our earth cannot handle this cycle anymore. Each person in the world is responsible for nearly 10 tons of biomass extracted from the earth each year. And since we live in America, this number is exponentially higher. I took a quiz to find out my ecological footprint based on how much I consume. In taking the quiz, I was feeling pretty good about myself. Recycling, check. Composting, check. I thought I was the poster child of environmentalism. Who cares how long my showers are or how much meat I eat when I recycle, right? Getting the results for the quiz was definitely an eye-opener for me. If everyone in the world lived as I do, we would need 5.6 Earths to have enough resources to sustain us. If we lived like the average American, we would need 8.2. We don't have 8.2 Earths or even 5.6. We have 1. It's pretty clear to see that we can't keep living like this. But what can we do? It's not feasible to just expect everyone to stop consuming. This is something that's so ingrained in our culture that we wouldn't survive without it. But we can reduce the amount that we are consuming. In my architecture class, we are designing tiny homes. And in researching tiny homes, I discovered the minimalist movement. Some people will get rid of everything that they own except for the essentials and move into a 24 by 8.5 foot portable home. And they seem to be some of the happiest people. In a book I read titled The Big Tiny, the author Dee Williams could list everything that she owned on a single sheet of paper. Now, I'm not saying that all of us should get rid of everything and move into a tiny home, but I think there's a lot that we can learn from these extreme environmentalists. Mainly, we don't need everything that we think we need. There are so many small changes we can implement to reduce the amount that we are consuming. Thrift shop. Buy more durable goods so that you don't have to replace them as often. Simply think before you buy something. When you're about to buy something, hold it and think, do I really need this? And a lot of the times, the answer is no. But when we're old and looking back on our lives, we're not going to remember the things we owned or what other people thought about us. We're going to remember the people we love and the memories we made with them. So no, I don't know what flavor my wedding cake will be or what the centerpieces will look like. But I do know that when I get married, it will be to someone I love, and we will make memories together for the rest of our lives. And I think those memories are what's most important. Thank you.
Alrighty, there you have it, folks. It's important to note that that speech was entirely written, drafted, revised, and now given by Elizabeth Woodruff herself. She created it from start to finish, and so I think that also deserves an additional round of applause, because as hard as it is to get up here and speak, it's even harder to create what you're saying. So let's give it up for her writing that as well. Alrighty, now before we move on to our next piece, we are going to recognize our sophomores who participated in all of their accomplishments on this team. First up, we have Gabby Donahue. She got 6th place this year in novice discussion at IUPUC and competed at many other meets this season as well. We have Andrew Gangstad, who got 5th place in international extemp at Newcastle, 4th in U.S. extemp at Southport, 4th in U.S. extemp at IUPUC, and I believe is a 3rd place in U.S. extemp at sectionals. Correct me if I'm wrong. We good? Okay, cool. On the sheet it said 2nd. I was like, that's not right. Okay, anyways. Like Megan got that. Anyways, okay. We have Grace Plahitko. She got 5th place in dramatic interp at Newcastle and 8th place in dramatic interp at sectionals. And Peyton Zins was a strong competitor all season in the broadcasting category as well. Now, coming up next, we have another piece. It is an original performance by freshman Jenna Seaver. It is entitled My Revelations, and this one also is one that was written entirely by Jenna herself. So without any further ado, here she is right here.
They tell me everything's okay. They tell me the reason why people are shouting and screaming at each other is because this is what we've been doing for thousands and thousands of years. But not with the same intentions. We've never had this corruptness of heart. And I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about the human race. Because we've done everything left to do, we discovered everything left to be discovered, and now the only thing we do to occupy our minds is just shout and scream at each other in hopes for some kind of justification. That's what the high priestess says with her ancient Mayan brain. She's not afraid to tell the truths burnt on the statues inside the Capitol building. And she's the only one that knows the world is truly ending. She tried to reverse it once upon a time ago, but the sins of the human race have left a wine stain inside the lining of our coffin. No one wants to reach into our burial chamber to clean it up. He gives me tarot cards to predict our future, but all have been drunk and poisoned. I pull the plastic sun from the deck, and it means that the sun, the light of our lives, will be our end. We all have a different sun, a different reason why our fate is this. It's the light that shines throughout the darkness of our lives, but our lives are the darkness, and the sun is the darkness. The darkness, it's the light. The end of the world is not a subject to be taken lightly. There have been countless books and theories published that predict our inevitable and inexorable doom. But no one really knows how the world is going to end. It's a subject left to our imaginations. In these pieces, I used my own imagination to predict what is going to become of me and the rest of the world when we meet our final demise. I present to you my revelations. 10 words left to say to my non-existent love, 10 words left to write to a person who will never read them. 10 new words to learn, words that will never make their mark on my tongue. Alvin, what do you think? What? About how some crazy scientists think the world is going to end at midnight? They're not crazy. We both know that. I know it's no use trying to convince myself anymore. Nine people left to meet. Their skin and Instagram where they tan, their hair a cheap novel brown, their minds like a child's finger paintings as they ponder the weather. Not whether or not they're worth my time. War? Yeah, I dated War. But in my defense, he was really hot. You know, abs, biceps, all that stuff. He was chiseled. However, his eyes were red. And at first, I thought it was one of those really expensive contacts. But that wasn't the case. And to make things worse, he wore guyliner. And he never even bothered to brush his hair. Eight books I haven't read, Ray Bradbury, Charles Dickens, and a million other dead authors whose words linger in the fabric of our culture. I want to read the words. I just don't want to read the feelings. Are you upset? Upset? Am I upset that I'm going to die? Ever since I've had leukemia, I've devoted my life to my health. I've tried to control how I die. But just look at me now, waiting for death to knock on my doorstep. Heaven, some worlds left to chase, left to discover worlds in the very deeps of my so far sheltered mind. Worlds that only exist in the wildest dreams of a man called history. And of course, he was violent. One time, he beat up this random dude for catcalling me and somehow never got in trouble. I dated worse. Yet, I didn't leave him for that. I thought I was his peace, the water to his fire. I was wrong. It was the first time I had broken up with a guy. Six nightmares left to live through, 6 thoughts that need to be destroyed. Waking up in the middle of the night, wondering whether or not this is truly the end. Wasted so much time. Who? Us? Only us, Maya, but humanity. Think of where we could be by now if we knew the world was going to end in our lifetime. But we didn't. We can't change anything. 5 seconds I need to spend in the paradise that tells us my mind, but yet I don't have time. Just give me my 5 seconds of quiet breath and classical music, and then I will face my end. We met at a bar, and he told me that I was his friend's cousin's neighbor. Everything seemed normal until they reported another school shooting. He got really excited. Kissed me. For mysteries I have solved in the murmurings of my childhood, but yet now and only now have I come to the realization of their true intentions. Their true intentions to teach me the fact that murderers and criminals are everywhere and you cannot escape the cages they have built for you. For mysteries that cannot be solved. But for criminals, you cannot put in jail. Yeah. You marry me. It's 8. We can't possibly find someone who'd rather spend their last few hours as they please than perform the ceremony. 3 murmurings of magic I have seen in my life. I know there is more magic out there, but yet I can't uncover all the magic and all these mysteries in this hourglass that has become the rest of my life. I'm not just talking about my figure. I'm talking about the world. The happier I make him, the worse things would get. Eventually, I couldn't handle it anymore, so I dumped him. We were over it, but he wasn't heartbroken. He just got really, really, really mad. 2 sets of wings, 1 set to be melted by the sun made of my desires, another set to be built from the bricks of my insecurities. I need both of them to escape this world that will soon be ending. Maya, forget about the world ending. It's still our life, however short it may be. For these next few hours, we'll be invincible. We'll be gods. This is ridiculous. I met you 3 months ago. I'm never going to see you again. One person to be with me, another voice to hear besides my own as we parade across the book of Revelations. One person to watch the end of the world with me.
Once again, that was Jenna in her original performance, equally as impressive, considering she also wrote that herself, just like Elizabeth. Moving on now to the juniors we have on our team. 3 juniors, Elizabeth Bradley, Wally Colvin, and Kara Linder, all took place in discussion, a very, very competitive event this year. They fought their hardest through the meets that they went to. Colton Ferguson, he placed 10th this year in an original performance piece, just like Jenna at the Newcastle meet this year. We also had AJ Singh, who took place in U.S. Extemp. He placed 6th at Newcastle in that category and 5th in sectionals. And then finally, Amy Weilhammer for the juniors. She placed multiple times this year, nothing under 5th place in both poetry and dramatic. She finished 1st place in poetry at Columbus, 1st in dramatic at Columbus as well, and she was the sectional champion in poetry. So now moving on, we will have our 3rd piece today. It'll be Grace Murphy, a senior, in her humorous interpretation. This is one she did not write herself, but still, it's pretty good. This one is titled Juliet and This Guy Romeo.
All right, so first of all, none of this was my fault, okay? Everything used to be cool around here before Facebook. Not that I was around before Facebook, but like in olden times. Facebook used to be for like kids, right? And then everyone's mom and dad got on it. Total mistake, because they ruined it. Totally destroyed the scene. And everyone my age is like, that's cool, y'all can have Facebook, and we'll just be on Snapchat, and we'll be over here. And all the old people are like, oh, Juliet, what's Snapchat? Let's check that out. And we're like, dang it, no, we're not on Snapchat, we're on, Loofah. It's this new thing just for sharing emojis, like all you do, smiley faces. I like to think that Juliet would have swiped right on Romeo, but they didn't have Tinder back then, so then things got a little more complicated. This piece will shine a contemporary light on a literary classic, proving that there are still lessons we can learn from it today. Juliet and This Guy Romeo by Donzelitis. Let's just say that there are people in this town that hate each other now. And like, first of all, we're in Verona, Wisconsin. Ordinary day, a couple of Montagues walking down the street. What's up, Benvolio?
What have you been up to?
In sadness, cousin. I do love a woman.
Dude, English. I hate it when you go all crazy.
Her name is Rosalind. She is too fair, too wise, wisely, too fair to marriage bliss, but making me despair.
Whatever, dude. I'm done. I can't handle you when you're in love. Now look. There's a Capulet party tonight, and if you start talking to chicks, I don't want you to go all iambic pentameter or whatever, all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I got this. Oh my gosh, this party is so lame. Let's see who's at the door. Hello. It is I, Romeo.
Oh.
Fair Rosalind. You doth teach a torches to burn bright. It seems you hang upon the cheek of night.
You rhymed, didn't you?
I may have rhymed. Man, what are you doing? I don't know. It comes over me like I'm talking to them and there's this spirit and it just takes a hold of me.
Dude, this is not spirit. This is demonic possession. I can't take you anywhere.
No, I'm good. I'm going back in. Whoa. So I know you guys are waiting on the electric slide, and we'll get to it, okay? We're just waiting on the DJ, so, like, mingle, okay? Who is that?
Nope. You're not talking to her. That's Juliet Capulet.
Hey, what are you doing? Don't even think about... Oh, this is not good. Hello. If I may profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this. My lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss. What? So this random dude comes up to me, and he's like rhyming or whatever, and I'm like, good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Juliet, honey, you know what we don't do anymore? Girl time, just for us girls. Like, you know, talk, chat, hang out, who do you like, that sort of thing. Okay, you ask me first. Okay, Mom, who do you like? Your father. All right, now my turn. Who do you like? What? Nobody. Awesome. Bring him in. This is Paris. Oh, he's simply amazing. His parents are super rich. Bonus. Check out his teeth. Smile. Oh, isn't he amazing? You know, talk to him. Ask him about his hobby and whatnot. Tell him about your hobbies, Paris. I like, video games. Oh my gosh, he's perfect. You two are so cute together. All right, well, that's enough getting to know you time. I hear wedding bells. Romeo texted me later that night. Ding. Hey. Whoop. Ding. So, sorry I killed your cousin. Basically, I'm banished. Banished? Whoop. Ding. Yeah, 3 syllables. It's more impactful. So anyway, I was thinking you and we could run away together, and my mom wants me to marry this guy, Paris. He's totally lame. Whoop. Ding. No way. Yeah, but I have a plan. Okay, so I talked to Benvolio and... Oh, shoot. Battery just died. Well, I hope that won't cause any problems. You wanted to see me? What ho, apothecary.
Pharmacist, actually. I work at Walgreens.
I need a drug that can kill me in large doses.
Pretty much all of them do that.
Really?
Yes. Little known secret, if you take twice the recommended dosage of anything, it'll kill you really fast. I probably shouldn't have told you that. Pharmacist code, but yeah.
I have Afrin for my allergies.
That'll do the trick. Snort the whole thing and you'll be dead in seconds.
Great. Good to know. Okay, so I probably should have faked my death before the wedding, you know, just not woken up, but I figured it'd be more fun to die in the middle of my wedding. Marriage. Citizens of Awona, we gather here together to join these 2 people in holy matrimony. The couple has decided to write their own vows. Powis, you first.
All right.
Babe, I'm the luckiest guy in the world, 'cause you're hot. That's not a vow. Pretty sure that's a vow. All right. We don't have all day. Juliet, would you care to recite your vow?
Sure.
Paris? So at this point, my plan, I just fake being dead. Wait for my true love, move to Canada, get a new identity. Psh, easy. Oh, Juliet! Oh, you're dead. Oh, this is so sad. It's so sad when somebody who's hot dies. Ah, dear Juliet, I still will stay with thee, and never from this palace of dim night depart again. Here I will remain with worms that are thy chambermaids. Eyes, look your last. Here's to my love. Apothecary, thy Afrin is quick. Thus, I die.
So, I got this text from Juliet, and, because, sometimes it takes a while to get my texts, because I've got Verizon, so, I'm gonna go.
I wake. Romeo. Where's Romeo? Oh, what's this? Afrin, close to my true love's hand. Afrin, I see hath been his timeless end. Oh, churl, drunk all and left no friendly drop to help me after. Shing! Oh, happy dagger! And then I was like, what the heck am I doing? Like, how dumb is it to kill yourself over a guy, right? And especially, like, you've known him for a week, and he's murdered one person. Like, talk about warning signs. The first week of our relationship was great. He only murdered one guy. We're hoping for 2 in our second week together. Hashtag grievances.
Alrighty, just to recap, that was Grace Murphy's humorous interp piece, Juliet and this guy Romeo. She took that piece all the way to quarterfinals in state. Coming up next, we're going to have the recognition of our seniors and their accomplishments. This will be a little awkward because both Cameron and I are also seniors. Just remember that I'm a humble man and not showboating when I say my name. Anyways, first off, we have Anna Ferguson. She took 8th place in duo at Rushville along with her partner Lizzie Hosty, and they also got 3rd place in their duo at Columbus East. Right beside me, we have Cameron Irwin. He took 5th place in radio broadcasting at Southport, 3rd in radio at Rushville, and 2nd in radio broadcasting at sectionals. Megan Looney, she competed in 2 meets this year. First off was sectionals. She took 2nd place in United States XMP at sectionals, and she also competed at the state meet. Grace Murphy, who you just heard, she took 2nd in versatility at Newcastle. Versatility is a combination of, I believe, 4 events. Is it 4? It is 4 separate events, all prepared like the week before this meet. They only hosted at Newcastle, so her taking 2nd in that is a big accomplishment. She also took 2nd place in humorous interp at Southport. She got 1st place at Rushville, and she was 2nd in humorous interp at sectionals. Myself, I got 1st place in radio broadcasting at Newcastle, 3rd in broadcasting at IUPUC, and I was the sectional champion in radio broadcasting. And finally, Elizabeth Woodruff, she got 5th place in original oratory at sectionals, and that's the end of our list. Okay. Up next, we have, you just saw Megan Looney up here at the very beginning of this. We now have her extant piece that she's been preparing while we have been listening to all these other wonderful speeches. So here she is in United States extemp.
Like this? Yep. Can I put it in here?
Yeah. Last Tuesday, Trump made headlines around the world by firing his Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson. They previously disagreed on many things regarding foreign policy and the role of diplomacy in foreign policy. Tillerson had also reportedly called Trump a moron behind his back, and apparently Trump has never really recovered after that blow. According to I can't even, CNN, oh my God, oh no, I'm so sorry, I'm usually better than this. Trump has also reportedly, Tillerson found out about his firing due to Twitter, which apparently that is Trump's mode of communication for all events regarding the White House. The 3 most distinct views on foreign policy that display this shift towards a more militaristic foreign policy is their views on Iran, North Korea, and Russia. Although Russia is an outlier, as Tillerson is more militaristic than his new predecessor, Mike Pompeo. Trump has famously been very harsh against North Korea. He has called for fire and fury against them and has rebuked any mention of a diplomatic meeting between him and North Korea. Tillerson has been the opposite and has advocated for more diplomatic meetings between the two. And when he did this a couple months ago, Trump even rebuked him on Twitter and said that that's not what the United States needed in their foreign policy with North Korea, and that a diplomatic sit-down with Kim Jong-un would not get anything accomplished. However, Mike Pompeo, the new Secretary of State, has also been has also had a very harsh view of North Korea. He thinks that North Korea can best be denuclearized with military action, and that nothing will be accomplished with a meeting, and which is especially concerning considering there is reportedly going to be a meeting between North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un and President Trump in the coming months, and considering that Mike Pompeo has this very harsh view towards how the U.S. should best accomplish their goals for North Korea, is especially concerning. This lack of diplomacy and this lack of emphasis on diplomacy will mark a huge shift in American foreign policy. We've famously been militaristic in the past, but we've tried to sway away from that in the past years. And this naming of Mike Pompeo, who has a harsh line towards how diplomatic action should be taken, will mark that shift even more. Another thing that they disagree with is the deal with Iran. President Obama, along with many of his advisors, created a deal in the early 2010s to curb Iran's nuclear program. It involved various sanctions against Iran, which was backed by many European countries, and also involved many inspections of their nuclear programs and their nuclear sites. Trump has famously been very against this program. He thinks that Americans are getting cheated out of oh God, cheated out of their diplomatic weight through this program. And he also believes that Tehran is out to hurt America, and through this Iran deal, that it is hurting all of Americans. And Tillerson has been, in the past, he's been very supportive of this Iran deal. He does not think, in the words of Trump, it should be torn up and thrown away. And Mike Pompeo is also very harsh on Iran and what should be done in order to best denuclearize Iran also. And this shift and this hiring of a new Secretary of State will involve many more lives, especially more lives lost in the Middle East. And this is another distinct shift in foreign policy. One thing that Tillerson and Mike Pompeo disagree with that is more of an anomaly is the U.S.'s role in curbing Russia's influence around the world. Trump is famous, he's under investigation for his affiliation with Russia and his campaign's connections with Russia, and he has called for the end of this investigation, which is very worrisome on a whole nother level, but that's not the point of the speech. And however, Tillerson has been very strict on Russia. The day before he was fired, he voiced support for Britain, and Theresa May, the Prime Minister of Britain, recently expelled 23 Russian diplomats from Britain due to Russia denies that they did this, but everyone knows that Russia poisoned a former double agent, Russian former double agent, and almost killed him and his daughter, and also exposed many other people in the surrounding area to this very dangerous nerve agent that was only created in the USSR. So it's obviously Russia, even though they deny it. And Pompeo voiced his support for Theresa May and her strong actions taken towards Russia. However, Trump and Pompeo, the new Secretary of State, have also been very, very lax in their view towards Russia. They don't believe that they even interfered in our elections at all, even though every single intelligence agency in the USA have concluded that they have interfered in our election. And it took the Trump administration like 9 months to finally impose sanctions that were passed by Congress in July of 2017. And even though Tillerson and Pompeo are very different on many issues, and Pompeo is usually more militaristic and in line with what Trump believes, Tillerson does believe in a more militaristic view towards Russia and wants to hold Russia more accountable for their actions towards the U.S. So this new shift towards a more militaristic foreign policy should worry many Americans. Many of them don't particularly know who the Secretary of State is and don't really care, but this new, which is fine, and usually it doesn't really affect American lives, but this new hiring of Mike Pompeo, who holds a much more militaristic view and thinks that the world's diplomatic issues can best be solved through United States military action, will affect more Americans and should worry more Americans about the U.S.'s role with diplomacy. The end. I'm so sorry. That was awful. Oh, God.
Well, thank you, Megan. Once again, that speech was written in 30 minutes, and she obviously knew her stuff, so that's pretty impressive. At this time, we would like to have Coach Milroy and McGill come up. They're going to have some remarks, speech-like remarks.
I can't help but notice that you all started clapping before you heard me speak. Makes me worried about what you'll do afterwards. Folks, we just wanted to take a moment here as we near the end of our program to say a couple of really important thank yous. Of course, first and foremost, we want to thank the members of our team. Obviously, without all their hard work this year, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have anything to do. and a lot of our students would be missing out on a fantastic extra credit opportunity. So their hard work this year and the successes that you've heard highlighted all throughout the program are really a testament to their hard work. And so we want to thank them for that. If any of you are sitting out there right now thinking, but wait, that looks fun. I want to do that. Consider this to be the call, right? This is your chance. We just wanted to let you, all of you students, know that we are more than happy to have you come and join us next year. There are a couple people who spoke tonight who were once upon a time just like you, sophomores in my classes who were being bribed with extra credit to come here, and they thought, wow, I could do that. And now look, state competitors, fantastic. It could happen to you. We also want to thank a couple other people. We want to thank all of the parents of our team, and especially anyone who volunteered to judge. Every year, we need an enormous number of judges to help run the meets. Our students can't compete without those judges. And so if there are any adults sitting out there who are thinking, wow, I'd like to hear even more speeches like that, please shoot us an email, pmilroy@roncalli.org, tmcgill@roncalli.org, and let us know, and we'll be happy to put you on the list of prospective judges for next year, because that would be really, really fantastic. So, and then finally, we want to thank the administration that's been tremendously supportive. You know, they're awfully good about getting us to and from where we need to go. They're awfully good about helping us to buy scripts and other resources that we need. And so, obviously, again, this whole show couldn't run without them. So those are some of the thank yous that we just wanted to make certain that we sneak in before the last speaker.
One final thing we like to do, because this is really, you know, now that we've given the show over to these guys, since this is really the only time that we speak, it's kind of become traditional that at the end of our speech season, we announce the captain for the upcoming season if a changing of the guard is in order, and it is. Grace Murphy has been our team captain for the past 2 years and has done a tremendous job, and we want to thank her because we attribute so much of our success to her leadership on the team. We think we do a lot, but Grace does a heck of a lot more than we do. So we want to thank her for all that she's done the past 2 years for our team. She's just been a tremendous leader, and it is appropriate that our last speaker is Amy Weilhammer, because we do want to announce that she is going to be our captain for the upcoming season. And if you know anything about the team, you know that this is not a surprise for most of us. Amy has been an incredible competitor for us for the past 3 years. She's got a fight in her like many people do not. She's a student of the game. She knows what she's doing. She does it well. And you'll see when you see her perform, or if you've ever seen her perform before, there is something very natural about what she does. And a lot of people see what Amy does, and they think, well, she's just good at that, right? That's just who Amy is. But what you don't see is that Amy works really, really hard. She works hard on her own, and she works hard with her teammates. And what you see is a result of a lot of hard work. And so we appreciate that. We appreciate what she does through her example. And if you've ever sat through a speech practice, you would also know that she's one of the harshest critics of her peers, because it makes them better, and it does. So she's not afraid to let them know what they're doing wrong, and you better believe they're going to be better the next time. Amy once famously, as a freshman, approached a judge whose ranking she did not agree with and asked, what's up with this? So we like the fight Amy has in her, and we're really excited about this upcoming season. And so what you're about to see is her poetry program. So these are several poems that she has spliced together. So she didn't write them, but she's created this program that she's going to present to you. And the title of the program is Heartbreak.
How to succeed in heartbreak without really trying. First, do nothing. Become one with your couch. Eat whole stacks of Oreos like leaning towers of feelings. Watch Jane Austen adaptations until your eyes become raisins relish in the sight of Colin Firth emerging from the lake in a white t-shirt. If you must do something, drink, but keep it classy. Pour your cheap wine into a glass. You aren't a pirate. Join Tinder, make your profile picture a model, and talk to no one. Just keep swiping until you get carpal tunnel. That way, you can reject 50 people a minute, and it feels like killing ants.
ants with abs. Kiss as many people as you need to get the stamp of his lips off of your brain. Go to museums. Realize that other things have history too. Play hide and go seek with your REM cycles. You aren't sure which is worse to wake up from, the nightmares about your side splitting open, or the ones where he's holding your jaw like it meant something to him. Might as well duct tape your eyelids to your forehead, because at least you can lie to yourself while you're awake. Heartbreak can be depressing, can be traumatic, can make us feel unwanted or unloved. But sometimes we stumble and we fall in life because there are things deep down within us that we are intended to find. From How to Succeed in Heartbreak by Victoria Morgan, Evolution of an F-Boy by Breonna Taylor, I Don't Have an Anxiety Problem by Amin Brita, and OCD by Neil Hilburn, I bring you Heartbreak, a poetry program. Ladies, have you ever met somebody so fine that every part of your being is frozen and shaky, and you're like, oh, guess I just met my soulmate. The day I met him, I actually showed up to the party on time. Call that fate. I don't believe in coincidence. I think maybe that's why I fall in love so hard. Every moment is meant to be. Every conversation is the universe trying to tell me something. When he and I were stretched across two coasts, he bent the continent in half to kiss me. I thought that this meant something. So naturally, I started planning out our wedding. I mean, nothing too big, but preferably on the beach, lots of good colors, good Indian food, both coming on horses, no big deal. Then we honeymoon in Tahiti, have 3 kids, a boy, a girl, another boy. This is the part where you call me a crazy millennial. We don't even have a picture together, and it's 2017. He and I were never in a relationship, just a modern day situationship, meaning I saw our expiration date. I just decided to ignore it. Like, I know you're emotionally unavailable right now, but we can work through that on your way to becoming my future husband. And I know I haven't actually said the words, I love you, but it's implied. The first time that I saw her, everything in my head went quiet. All the tics, all the constantly refreshing images just disappeared. When you have obsessive-compulsive disorder, you don't really get quiet moments. Even when I'm in bed, I'm thinking, did I lock the doors? Yes. Did I wash my hands? Yes. Did I lock the doors? Yes. Did I wash my hands? Yes. But when I saw her, the only thing I could think about was the hairpin curve of her lips, or the eyelash on her cheek, eyelash on her cheek, eyelash on her cheek. I knew that I had to talk to her. I asked her out 6 times in 30 seconds. She said yes after the 3rd time, but none of them felt right, so I had to keep asking. On our first date, I spent more time organizing my meal by color than I did eating it, or talking to her. She loved it. She loved that I had to kiss her goodbye 16 times. Or 24 times if it was a Wednesday. She loved that it took me forever to walk home because there are lots of cracks in our sidewalk when we moved in together. She said she felt safe. Like nobody would ever break in because I definitely locked the doors 18 times. And he's so fine that you're almost embarrassed to do anything because you'd hate to blow it in front of your soulmate. And you think to yourself, he is so evolved. He works, makes decent money, he helps his mom out as often as he can, and he's fixing his car all by himself. And then he leans in for that kiss, and it's literally the best kiss you've ever had. And then after a few weeks of being busy helping his mom out, and fixing his 2002 Camaro to actually hang out with you, this charming king of a man says, but I'm not really looking for anything serious right now. He eventually stops calling. I think to myself, but what about our beautiful unborn babies? I search and I search for the perfect song to describe our situation, and when I find it, I don't send it to him. I'm afraid of seeming too attached, too emotional, too in my feelings. One day, I texted him first. I wanted to, have a conversation. He in turn responded with, "Want to know what your problem is? Your anxiety is going to scare dudes away." It became a soundproof room in a matter of seconds. Internalized everything. And then wondered why it was so hard to get him out of my system. I don't have an anxiety problem. I have a loving people who don't love me back problem, and that causes me anxiety. I'd always watch her mouth when she talked, when she told me that she loved me. Her lips would curl up at the edges. At night, she'd lie in bed as I turned the lights off. And on and off 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 and on and off. And she'd close her eyes and imagine that the days and the nights were passing in front of her. Some mornings, I would start kissing her goodbye, but I was making her late for work. When I stopped at a crack in the sidewalk, she just kept walking when she told me that she loved me. Mouth was a straight line. She told me that I was taking up too much of her time last week. She started sleeping at her mother's place. I see the good in people, and that isn't always my best quality. It means that I stay longer than I should. It means that I stay even after I have already left. But it also means that I am not afraid of imagining the best possible scenario. And I am bold enough to believe that I deserve it. She told me that I shouldn't have gotten so attached to her, that this whole thing was a mistake, but how can it be a mistake if I don't have to wash my hands after I touch her? Love is not a mistake, and it's killing me that she can just walk away from this and I just can't. I can't go out and find somebody new because I'm always thinking of her. Usually, when I obsess over things, I see germs seeping into my skin. I see myself crushed by an endless succession of cars, but she was the first beautiful thing I ever got stuck on. I want to wake up every morning thinking about the way she holds her steering wheel. How she turns the shower knob like she's opening a safe, how she blows out candles, 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 blows out candles. Now I just think about who else is kissing her, and I can't breathe. Because he only kisses her once. Doesn't care if it's perfect or not. I want her back so bad. I leave the door unlocked. I leave the lights on. Thank you.
No, not yet. Hang on. Alrighty, that was Amy Weilhammer's poetry program entitled Heartbreak that she pieced together. That was placed top 12 in the state. Quite impressive. Now, I guess as that was our last piece before you guys all get up and walk to your cars and drive home, we've got a few final thanks First off, on behalf of the entire speech team, Cameron and I would like to thank our two coaches, Mr. Milroy and Miss McGill, for giving up all of their, a ton of their time to coach us, stay after school, meet us before school, and then drive us to these meets that we've had throughout the season, throughout the years we've been in high school, and for all the future endeavors of the speech team. They give so much of their time and effort to this team, and it really shows that they care about us as individuals and care about bettering us as speakers and students, and I would like to thank them on behalf of the entire speech team. So can we give them a round of applause real quick? In addition to Mr. Milroy and Ms. McGill, we would like to thank everyone who took time out of their Monday to come see us perform here. We couldn't put this on if we didn't have a great turnout like this, so it means a lot to the speech team to see all of these faces out here showing support for us and what we do. And we hope that anybody who has even a slight interest and is going to be still in high school next year comes out and joins the speech team, because we need members to continue doing this, and I know there's a lot of talent out there that walks through the halls of Roncalli that for whatever reason is not on the speech team. We encourage everybody to come out and join that, but for now, thank you guys all for coming out here. Give you guys all a round of applause. Yeah. Alrighty, that's all we've got for today. I'm Nicholas Plahitko, and this is Cameron Irwin, and we are signing off.
You realize Grace was supposed to come up here.
What?
I told you that.
Grace is coming up here. Wait. Oh, no, we're not.
I told him that. I said, hey, don't forget, Grace is coming up again.
Forgot. What was Grace supposed to do? Thank him?
Exactly what you did. She was supposed to give him the cards that we had for him.
Oh, sorry. I'm the alpha anchor.